So, good evening, dear Dione. So, my name is Veronica Saban. I'm the business owner and founder of Business Power Academy. I'm a business and NLP coach, author of different books as Master Your Life, Business Power Academy, and many others. And I'm also the founder of the talk show, Share Your Life Story Experience, which has the main goal to inspire, motivate, teach people, but as well to attract the ideal clients. So today I have invited you as a guest, and I would like to invite you as well to introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you doing for a living?
Okay, so my name is Dione Lockyer. I am a cognitive behavioral therapist, life coach and mindset mentor. So what I do is and self-esteem. Now, because of the way that you have learned behaviors when growing up and limited beliefs, and how society has an impact on you, and maybe you become a parent and everything goes then onto your children. You forget who you are and you stop believing in yourself. So I get you to reconnect with your inner child, release any negative behaviors and limiting beliefs, and understand what it feels like to own your self-confidence with pride, and shine brightly no matter what you do in life.
Oh, thank you so much. And I have a very simple question, but which I think that will bring a lot of awareness. Do you believe in destiny, that it's meant to be, or do you believe that we are the creators of our destiny?
I believe that we are the creators. I'm a huge believer in law of attraction, massive believer. If you want something, with law of attraction, it says ask, believe, receive. The biggest thing that they miss when they're talking about it is ask, believe, act, receive. Now, you can ask something and you can genuinely believe that you're going to get it, but unless you take the action, nothing will change. Like if you wanted to lose 20 pounds and you say, like, universe, I want to lose 20 pounds, I really believe it, but you're sat on the sofa, you're not going to lose 20 pounds. But I believe that you are truly the creator of your destiny. If you want something, you can get it. If you know somebody that has created something, whether that be a successful 7-figure business or somebody that is living in their dream house, well, if they can do it, so can you. There is nothing in the world that says that things are only allowed to be for certain people. It's available to everybody.
Wow, it's very, very impactful what you are saying. And I'm the same believer like you, because everything depends on us. On if we truly wish something, then we need first of all to acquire the necessary skills, right? And then the confidence to be confident, and then a commitment, and then an approach plan. So so how did you change your or what has changed your life?
Okay, so prior to me studying cognitive behavioral therapy, anxiety management, trauma specialist, my mindset was of a victim. I'd been through my own personal traumas throughout my life, but what I was doing, instead of looking within, I was very much pointing the finger. This person's to blame, that person's to blame. And when you point a finger at somebody, 3 fingers always point back to yourself.
It's about yourself.
It's about yourself. Now, you are going to get people in the world who may cause you pain. You are going to get, and that even it could be family members,
Yes.
friends of, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
But it's your responsibility of how you choose to take that in. You can either take it personally and then let it control the rest of your life, or you can look within and learn how to work with the mind and understand how you overcome it. So I spent years in victim mode, and I was very much woe me. Life is unfair. Everything goes wrong for me. And of course, all the time that I'm putting that frequency out as well, more bad stuff came back to me. And I blamed everything outside of me. And I went to actually see a counsellor because I felt that maybe depression or, you know, and I wanted help. I wanted to change. I was putting so much pressure on my husband and on my children, and I was making them unhappy. So I wanted help. And unfortunately, the counsellor that I went to see was bringing up lots of trauma from my past, but never with a resolution. So I would leave there traumatic. I was completely, you know, lost, and bringing all this stuff up and then going, okay, go home. So I just so happened to start Googling like mindset and everything else. And it came up cognitive behavioral therapy, which is all about thoughts, feelings, behaviors. And I was like, okay, this sounds interesting, because, you know, your thoughts lead to your feelings lead to your behaviors will lead to your actions, and it becomes in that vicious circle. So unless you change your thoughts, you can't change your feelings, you can't change your behaviors, and therefore you act the same. So I started researching it and everything, and then I found where I could study for it myself. And I was like, okay, I will start studying. And I'm very much a person that I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I share experiences, because for me, if you are consistently saying life is perfect, everything is great, I never have a bad day in my life because I'm a coach, I would be lying. And everyone else will be lying, because you have to have bad days, you know. If you don't have bad days, you would never appreciate the good. But I was only studying it for my benefit, not for anyone else's. It was for me to heal. And so I started blogging it on my social media. I started blogging my journey of, you know, how people that don't know me on a very personal basis would think that I'm the life and soul of a party, which I always have been. I'm very clever. Back then I was very clever at wearing the mask. I was the hyperactive one. I was the one that would be dancing on tables. I was the one that gathered everybody together, but inside was a completely different thing. So I decided to open up and say, do you know what, even the most confident people, or who you think is confident, can be struggling inside. So I'm going to share my real story. And that's what I started doing. I started writing to people, and they would message me or comment on anything, and they were like, I'm so glad that you were doing this, because now I no longer feel alone. Like, I would never have guessed that with you, but I no longer feel alone. And then this wonderful lady contacted me, and she was like, I would like to book you. And I hadn't passed all my exams by then, and imposter syndrome kicked in as well, massively. So I ignored her messages for a bit. Like, it was like the imposter syndrome was there, the fear was rising, the ego was telling me every reason why I could not do this. And then she sent me, God bless her, she sent me this message saying, Dione, you are an absolute fool. You have got an opportunity. You are shining in this industry and you're about to throw it all away. And her message made me sit up and go, she's right.
Awareness.
Yeah, I'm blocking myself from something that I didn't actually know I was as passionate about it as I was. In my head, I was just healing myself.
Yeah.
But subconsciously, there must have been something else, because I was blogging it publicly on social media. So there must have been something there subconsciously. And I've never looked back since. Imposter syndrome can still at times rear its ugly head. Fear can sometimes still creep in. But the difference is it doesn't stay there for long now. I know how to deal with it and how to overcome it. And that's what I teach other ladies as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the imposter syndrome. What is causing exactly the imposter syndrome, and how can we deal with the imposter syndrome? Because I think it's a huge frustration for many coaches out there. Yes, even if they don't dare to talk about, but I know, because I have had conversations with different therapists.
It's massive, especially in coaches. Now, whether I coach women, I don't coach businesses, I coach individuals. So like, I work on their mindset. I've done business stuff as well, but my niche is coaching like individual women. But I've done talks as well in business to other coaches about imposter syndrome. And so many people compare their day one to another coach's year 5, you know, and then go, I can't do what they do. Get out of your own way is my biggest piece of advice. Self-talk is so important. And the moment that you hear yourself saying words like, I can't, I'm not good enough, you need to acknowledge it. There are many people out there, inclusive of coaches, who, when someone thinks something, they go, oh, just ignore that. It's just in your head, leave it. No, you have to acknowledge these thoughts. As I'm sure you know, you have like over 60,000 thoughts per day.
Yes.
And over 80% of those are negative. Yeah. And out of that 80%, over 60% of those are repetitive thoughts from the day before. When you break it down even further, when you look at that 60%, you will look at the 50% of those are actually not, they weren't that bad when you face them. It's just your ego trying to keep you safe by putting the fear barriers up and saying, don't do it. Keep yourself safe. Go back to your comfort zone. That's where you belong. Yeah. But when you acknowledge those thoughts, you can learn the pattern, and you can also learn what is true and is not true. And one of the things that I teach my clients is when they are having negative thoughts and they are dealing with imposter syndrome, I ask them, what physical evidence do you have that makes these thoughts true? Write it down. And then they go, what do you mean? I was like, well, what physical evidence do you have right now that tells you you can't be a coach, or you can't be a business owner, or you can't be a confident, badass woman? What physical evidence do you have? And they sit there and they're like, well, I don't.
No one.
Exactly, you don't. So that's when you have to go, okay, I'm scared. I am scared right now, but I'm going to sit with this fear for a minute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make friends with fear. and I'm going to put fear in the driving seat, in the passenger seat, and I'm going to say to fear, thank you so much for trying to protect me, but don't worry, I've got this.
Yeah.
And take the driver's seat yourself. And when you start, sometimes people think I'm crazy when I have these little conversations with myself, and I do it out loud. I do it in front of a mirror. I don't care what anyone thinks of me, because it's what helps the growth within yourself. So anytime that you have those negative thoughts, ask yourself the question, what physical evidence do you have that makes it real? And then make friends with fear, put her in the passenger seat and say, thank you, I appreciate you, but I've got this.
I would like to ask you something, to share an example how to leave the comfort zone for the coaching industry for all the niches, because so our talk show is specifically for coaching industry. Yeah. So especially the starters, because when you start, it's like you are dealing with the imposter syndrome, or even procrastination, self-doubt, self-talk, these kind of things. Yeah. Could you give an example how to leave the comfort zone? Because the comfort zone, you feel comfortable, but at the same time painful, because you want to see changements, but nothing changes. So how is possible to create a such atmosphere, so for yourself to change, to leave the comfort zone, and to living your true potential, because it's there about.
I would say my biggest tip for that, a technique that I would recommend for other coaches, is the 7 steps of why. Mm-hmm. Now, the first question that you ask is, for example, why do I want to be a coach? And it doesn't matter what type of coach, why do I want to be a coach? And you will put that answer. Then after that, why is this important to me? Then you will put an answer. Why is that important to me? And probably about a level 5, when you get down 5 levels, you'll get to your real why. Mm-hmm. When you get to your real why, pin that everywhere. Bathroom mirror, bedside cabinet, you name it. You put your why everywhere that you frequent, on the fridge, stick it to a bottle of wine, you put it absolutely
everywhere in all the house.
Yes, everywhere. And you remind yourself why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Be clear in your goal, but be completely clear in your goal, and then you can shred that down. So my goal is to be a business coach with a group course that runs 3 times a year, and let's say I run it every quarter, and each one earns me 6 figures. Okay, be specific. What's your 6 figure, and why is that important to you? Or why do you want to run a group course? So don't just make it about the money. You've got to follow your heart, your gut, and your passion. Because if you're forever chasing money, imposter syndrome and procrastination will be the loudest ever. Mm-hmm. Then you break them down into smaller goals. So each one that you have, so you pick 3 main goals, break them down to another 3. Break them down to another 3. So again, it's like another tier step. So you're making smaller goals. The biggest thing is when you reach one goal, no matter how big or small, whether it be you got your first client, celebrate that moment. Be in the present. Don't consistently go, well, I've got 1 client, but I need 20. Celebrate that moment. You have just taken yourself out of your comfort zone and got your first client. That is incredible. if you've posted a video on social media or you've gone live and people are liking it, even if you've got 2 likes and 1 comment, celebrate that, because it's about quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
Celebrate every single milestone, from the smallest baby step to the big, big wins. And trust me, imposter syndrome and procrastination will start to fade. Never think that it will go away completely, because it doesn't. Because as you grow, procrastination and imposter syndrome will grow as well, because you'll then go to the next level and the next level. And when you're ready to reach your 3rd level, that fear will kick in again. And that is where imposter syndrome and procrastination comes from. It comes from fear. Nothing more, nothing less. It is all to do with fear. So when you're feeling that, what am I scared of right now? Frightening me. Or what do I think is going to happen if I do this? Ask yourself the questions. If I put myself out there as a coach and I pitch to somebody, what do I think is going to happen? And write it down, you know, what you think, what your ego's telling you. And then again, ask the question, what physical evidence do I have that makes this real? None. Do it. And sometimes it is as simple as that. And my clients will tell you, I don't sugarcoat. Sometimes with my clients, if I know that they're capable and they're holding themselves back through procrastination, fear, I will say to them, you've just got to do. Motivation isn't enough.
Yeah.
You can't constantly motivate yourself. You have to have self-discipline. And sometimes I always explain it as an example. How many of us go, yay, I'm going to the gym? No one. I certainly don't. I have to drag myself to the gym, but I know that when I come out, I feel amazing. So on those days where I don't want to go to the gym, I sit with what I feel when I finish the gym class. I sit with that I feel good feeling. I connect with it. But sometimes you have to say, you know, you have a choice, press the snooze button or go to the gym. Well, of course, the easy option is to just snooze. No, you have to discipline yourself and go, that's not what I'm about. I know what I want. My why is everywhere. And that is more important to me than my excuses.
Yes, I would like to ask you as well something about the vision and why. So the mindset is so important to go to the direction that you want to be, because so many times we have a vision, but how many from the coaches are able to achieve the vision, or to arrive to the destination where do they want to be?
Too many people focus purely on the destination. That's the problem. Your vision should be, don't get me wrong, I mean, I have a vision board. I'm very pro vision. And as I said earlier, anybody can achieve anything that they want if they really want to. So if they've got the discipline, if they continue mindset, it doesn't matter how confident you are or how determined you are. Working on mindset is an everyday thing to do. 365. You have to work on yourself every single day. But so many people spend so much time concentrating on the end destination, the end goal.
And they forget the process.
Yes, and I think that's why so many either quit too early. They've got everything there. They've got the passion, the empathy. They've got the structure. They've got the business idea, and everything's there, and you can see their potential. But they spend so much time looking at the end destination. They forget the here and now.
Yes.
And I think that that is so crucial if you are going to be a coach.
Yeah.
Yes, have your vision, be clear in your vision, because if you're not clear, you will go off onto different tracks.
Yeah.
You have to be clear on your vision. And yes, make a plan where you see yourself in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years, of course. But then look at the today. What do you need to do today? And then appreciate everything you do each day. You have to concentrate more on your today than you do your 6 month, your 1 year, your 5 year, because it's your today that will get you one step closer to your 6 month.
And let's talk about the mindset transformation. One of the most important aspects to go to the process and to be closer to our goal. So how did you transform your mindset? So
self-development is key. Meditation. I'm now recently accredited as a meditation teacher, but I used to think that law of attraction, meditation, affirmations was a crock of crap. That's what I used to say. But I get up before anybody else. Well, I did before I had the dreaded virus. And I spend 10-15 minutes just in silence, just listening to the breath. I read self-development books. I do my affirmations, and not just any affirmations you see online, affirmations that are personally connected to me. I work on my vision board. Journaling is the biggest and most important thing with a mindset journey. Journal, journal, journal. So important. I journal first thing in the morning and I journal before I go to bed. I don't pre-plan what I'm going to write. Sometimes it's just words, like the odd different words. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's like pages of stuff. Sometimes it's about what's happened that day. Sometimes it will be something that's triggered something in my past. Sometimes it's excited about what I see for the future. It could be anything. And I don't try and dissect it all straight away. I just allow it to flow, and then I close the book, and maybe once a week, twice a month, I will go through, and then certain things will then come to me as to why I was thinking and feeling the way that I was. And I would understand the reasons behind it. Other times when I journal, I'll journal it all out and it'll click with me straight away what I'm going through and how it was ego-based and not reality-based. So yeah, self-development is key.
Personal development, I think, as well, because it helps a lot. And the relationship with yourself, that's my next question. So how did you build it up, your relationship with yourself?
I disliked myself so much.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the queen of yo-yo diets. 1 minute I would be really big, next minute I was so skinny and addicted to laxatives. I had a very bad relationship with myself. And I would say, honestly, I'm still 7 years on. Don't get me wrong, I can confidently say that I do love me. Mm-hmm. There are many elements of me that I adore now. But I would still say that there are still other elements that are a work in progress. And I just think it's listening to your internal dialogue. That's what's important. Our internal dialogue, you know, it's the media, society, everything that's on TV, you know, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too old, you're too young, you can't do this, you overshare, you undershare. This has been like implanted in our brains for so many years. Before social media, it was the TV and the newspapers. I don't watch the news. I don't read newspapers. I don't watch things on the TV that cause arguments and debates and stuff, because it doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
So I continuously listen to my inner dialogue, and the moment that I say to myself, you need to lose weight, or you're getting fat again, or you're too skinny, or you're not a good enough coach, I come up with facts that prove otherwise. Mm-hmm. So you know, imposter syndrome, I'm not a good enough coach. Why should I be doing this? I feel like I'm an absolute fraud. Which is what imposter syndrome is. You convince yourself that you're a fraud. You have all these qualifications and certificates, but you convince yourself that you're a fraud. So then I look at facts. Okay, this client wrote to me, blah, 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 and told me that, you know, she couldn't even walk outside of her house. Now she's meeting friends and doing this and well, that's physical evidence that I am a good enough coach. You know, so, and I make an effort with myself. So not just self-development, but self-care is important, especially for women. Yeah. But I will say men as well. You know, simple things like face masks and taking time on doing your makeup, or, you know, going for a walk in your favorite outfit, because when you're dressed up, you do tend to stand up better. Yeah, the confidence is there, like your shoulders are back and you're walking with confidence. Yeah, I think that's really important. That's the same with men as well. When men look after their self externally, they feel good on the inside as well, and they will walk with more confidence. And I think that's really important. But continuously checking in with yourself, and, you know, things like, I'm proud of you. I do love you, and that doesn't mean that you're conceited. You're allowed to love yourself. You're allowed to be proud of yourself. And if there is anyone that's, because your surroundings are very important, very important. Yeah. If there's people that you're surrounded by that can't handle that, then they're not meant to be a part of your next chapter.
Yeah, I would like to share an example about the relationship with myself, because there have been moments in my life when I had an excellent relationship with myself, because I was enjoying my life to the fullest, but I was working as well very hard. So, like you said, celebrate every single moment. So I was celebrating all the moments, but there have been moments when I felt incredible bad, and then the relationship with myself, it brought so along the journey as well, the self-doubt, you know, self-talk and frustration. And then I was doubting myself, then, okay, so what I'm doing wrong? And what helped me, I started to travel a lot around the world to discover cultures, so to talk with people from different countries, to keep in touch with them. And I started as well to clean up my network. What I mean with clean up, to eliminate the toxic people from my life. Oh my gosh, it's so important. Yes, that's exactly what was frustrating me. So the toxic people with a toxic mind, that they are jealous, envious, that they don't want that you grow, and they tried to convince me that I will never succeed. So then, and in these times, exactly when I was traveling, then I had the opportunity to listen to myself, to my heart, to my desires, to my way to be who I really am. And then
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I made a list. Okay, I have to work at this. I have to work at this. So I have to work at my mindset. Okay, I don't want to keep in touch anymore with this person. So away with this person. So
I know some people struggle with that, but it's okay to let go.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to think of you and your friends and families at the bottom of a staircase. And let's say there are 5 steps. Now, when you are ready for growth, you will take let's say there's 50 of you at the bottom level. When you take that first step of growth, probably only about 40 will follow, but you leave the 10 behind with love, not with judgment. Yeah. Because when you judge another, like when people were judging you by saying, you will never be successful, they're not actually judging you, they're judging themselves.
Yeah.
And that is what judgment is. When you judge another, you're actually judging something within yourself that you're not happy with, but you're too scared to look within, so it's easier to judge. By the time that you get to step 5, there will probably only be 10 people left, but that's fine. Like, some of them you will cut out of your life completely. Some will still be around on the odd occasion and how are you, etc., but still with love and kindness, and that is fine. Don't fear letting people go, because it can stunt your growth. It can really stunt your growth, but you can send them off with love. There are people that I no longer have contact with. I still love them dearly, but they're not part of this chapter, and that's okay.
Yeah, because that's exactly what is happening to me, but I talk about many years ago. This happened from my 3rd age. So I'm already so towards 42. But anyway, so along the years, I have been going through a very deep transformation, yes. Starting with my mindset, and then my environment, and then my personal development, and then my financial situation, and goes on. Then my relationships with my family, with my acquaintances, so with my friends as well. When I have done that, do you know what is happening? That I had around me only a couple of persons that they were worth so of my attention and time.
Yeah.
So most of them, they left so me, and especially in the bad times, you know.
Yeah, and that's when you find out who's true. When you are going through your bad times, you find out who's real and who's capable of staying around. But you become the you surround yourself with. So this is a message to all coaches out there. Look at the 5 people that you spend most of your time with.
Mm-hmm.
If those 5 are consistently negative, or they gossip about other people, or they constantly give up on themselves, you will be the 6th. If these 5 people are supportive, encouraging, positive, believe in their visions and their life and their dreams, you will become the 6th. So just be mindful of the 5 people that you spend most time with.
Yes, I love so the entrepreneurs, and I always have been surrounded by entrepreneurs, because this is really me. So I'm in love with the entrepreneurship outside, so the coaching industry. Since 2007, so I'm an entrepreneur. But as every single human being, there have been ups and downs, you know, so along my journey, which is very normal. Yes, I have learned a lot. So even if I have been fallen, it's okay. But I'm strong. So I came out much more stronger, you know, and with much more knowledge, experience, wisdom. Because there is a huge difference between my 30s and my 40s.
I agree. I'm 44, so there's a huge difference between 30s and 40s. And I've got to say, I love the 40s more than I did the 30s. But you said, you know, there were times that you were fallen. And many people think that if they fall, it means that they failed.
No.
And it's like, no. Falling is to be celebrated as well, because it means that you've taken the step.
Yeah.
What if you've fallen? You've taken the step. Failure is one, not taking the step, or two, not picking yourself back up. If you stay down there, then yes, I will openly say you are failing yourself. If you don't take the step, yes, you are failing yourself. But don't ever say that falling is failure, because you fall just before you grow.
No, I consider that falling is, you know, a part of the growing process, because if you don't fall, you cannot grow. If you don't fall, you cannot change. And if you don't fall, you cannot learn. So how can you transform? Yes, how can you transform your mindset, your life, or how can you teach another people if you haven't never experienced so you know, a bad situation, even if it has been a bad situation, but it's a lesson. But this is in my opinion, of course, because everyone so has his own opinion, and which is okay. What do you think so about fall and changement? How can you change? For example, if you have been going through a very bad situation, yeah, how can you stand up and change so the situation to the better?
When it comes to change, I keep losing you. Sorry, it's just frozen on me. Oh, I'm back now. You have to look at what you need to change. Everybody will need to change something. Look at change as though it's a chore. Change is growth. Change is exciting. Change is a wonderful place to be. I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's not easy. You would have spent so many years with habits that have got you to where you are, and you need to create new habits. So where do I need to change? Write that down. You know, this is what I want to change about me. So for me, back then was, I no longer want to be a victim. How do I change? What habit do I need to create to make that change? Self-talk was one of them, because if you're in victim mode, and I was judgmental. I was judgmental of everyone. Totally judgmental. I would gossip because I wasn't happy. Yeah. And then I would get involved in conversations that were gossiping. I have been gossiped about, but I will hold my hands up and say, back then, I was also gossiping. You know, I would judge others because I was too scared to judge myself. I had to really look inside me and say, what do I want to change? And what habit, what new habit can I create that will bring me that change? And then you have consistency is key. It's pointless you doing it for a week, or as they say that it takes 21 days to create a new habit. I'm going to call bull on that, Because when you are, yes, it can take 21 days to create a new habit, but it doesn't take 21 days to create it and for it to then stay there. Because you've spent however many years with these habits that when there's a little trigger, you will go back into that bad habit within 5 minutes. So consistency is key. You want that change, you create that habit and you stay consistently. You don't ever not do it one day. You have to do it. And any time that you see yourself slipping, acknowledge it and flip it round again. Only you can do it. Understand that you are the only one that can take responsibility. It's no one else's fault. It's only your fault. Whether you have lost a client, or whether you've started talking bad about yourself again, or whatever it is, the responsibility lies with you, nobody else. So, you know, responsibility is very important as well. And that is where the ego will battle with you. It's easy for us to blame everyone else or everything else, you know. It was the internet, or it was the weather, or it was my husband. No, look at yourself.
So many thousands of excuses, only only to reject, because I think that the most difficult and hardest is to look the truth in the face. It's an expression that I'm using all the time, you know. It's when you have to look the truth so in the face, because you are finding out so thousands of excuses. Like if you are learning so to manage your time, it will bring you to consistency and to educate as well leadership skills. Today I have had another session with a leadership mentor. He collaborates really with hundreds of organizations, companies, individuals. He's really a winner of many awards, and he was talking about the leadership, because it's his field. And it's, you know, this is the most hardest thing that we are facing in generally in the coaching industry, because being a coach is not enough. Having a certificate, it's not enough. So you have to gain a lot of confidence within yourself, so many skills. You need really a skill set like communication, skill set, leadership, how to manage your time, how to network.
The only way you get that is consistency. Like a certificate, you could be top of the class and have about 20 certificates. It's just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Just a piece of paper, because when you actually then sit in that coaching seat, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world, and you're going to make mistakes. You will make mistakes, and that's fine, because you learn from them. A mistake isn't a negative. A mistake is a lesson for you to learn and come back the next time. You're going to make them. So get out of your head by thinking that, you know, if you're a new coach, that you're going to be amazing because of all these certificates and how much of a nice person you are. It doesn't matter. You're going to make mistakes. So accept that now. Before anything, accept that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have clients that love you. You're going to have clients that don't connect with you, and that's fine too. You're not going to be able to connect with everybody. Niche down your ideal client. That is extremely important. And that was one of the mistakes I made. I thought I could change the world. So I was like men, women, children, all ages, all problems, all this, all that. And I burnt out, massively burnt out. And I didn't really know who my ideal client was. I'm a coach. I specialize in trauma and anxiety and self-confidence. I can teach that to everyone, and niche it down, like, because burnout in the coaching industry, and that again, more work than I needed to. I didn't outsource things. There were many things that I wasn't doing, and I promised myself that this year that will never ever happen again, and that my time with my work will be blocked, but it will be specific.
Yeah,
exactly what I am doing. Not just I'm going to dip into this and then I'll have a client there, then I'll do emails there, then I'll do a sales funnel there. No, it's specific each day. And I set boundaries, because I had no boundaries either. People were messaging me at all hours of the day, all hours of the night, weekends, and I was answering. So now I have healthy boundaries as well.
that's excellent. I'm doing this as well because many people, they are trying, to reach me out from different countries, and many of them then they are saying, why so don't you reply? Like, so I'm not a robot, sorry, I'm a human being like you.
Yeah.
So I'm receiving hundreds, even thousands of messages, and sometimes when I have a look on my messenger, I cannot believe that. Oh my gosh, like, okay, so today I can respond to so many messages. Tomorrow I can reply to so many messages, but I don't to be exhausted, because of the people, and or to please the people, because the people who will understand me, so they will be with me. People who don't understand me, and it's okay. I'm saying, or you love me or you leave me.
Exactly that. Like weekends, I do not respond to anything on a weekend, because I'm a mum and I'm also a wife and I'm also a person. So it's family time or time with friends, etc. Wednesdays are my me day. I do whatever I want for me. Sometimes it will be drive to the coast and just go for a walk along the beach. Sometimes I will take myself on a date for a coffee or a wine. I have a date with myself. It's great. It's the best thing ever. If you can't date yourself, you can't date anyone else. So I have a pure me day, and it's a day where I recharge my batteries. And the only people that I pick up the phone is my husband and my 2 sons, nobody else. And it's lovely. And even then, like, my husband knows if I'm out on a Wednesday, he doesn't call me. He just goes, okay, what time are you back, etc., later, because he knows that's my recharge. Because when you are coaching others, whether it be on a personal level or on a business level, you're taking on all of what they're going through, and you have to give yourself the time to be able to release that too. Otherwise, if you keep hold of it, it can have a massive effect on you.
Mm-hmm. We need to elevate our energy.
Yes, definitely.
And yes, and also to be always in touch with ourselves, and to don't lose the connection with ourselves, because coaching people, I noticed, especially when you have really a full booked schedule, agenda, so it can be very overwhelming, and at the end of the day, then so your battery is completely low.
Yeah, you have to give yourself what I call a mental MRI scan. So you just sit there and mentally scan yourself, Do I have any aches or pains? How am I feeling? Am I tired? Am I energetic? Like, ask yourself all these, how am I feeling today? What do I need to do? You know, you wouldn't drive your car with no fuel in it. So, you know, you have to internally fill yourself up as well.
Yes, exactly, because when people they are trying to reach me out by phone, by messenger, I probably don't respond late in the night. About 2 days ago, so they reached me out at 3 a.m. in the morning while I was sleeping. So like I will totally close my phone, and I don't mind. When I will wake up, then I will respond, because if you don't set boundaries, the people or even they don't realize the fact that you are sleeping at that moment, you know, like they are living in another countries, for example, United States or Australia, or it doesn't matter where. And when in United States it's morning, here it's evening, and to the opposite, you know, when here it's night and there it's day.
You can understand, like, you know, if you are getting messages from clients that are in Australia or America, you can kind of give that like leeway. But yeah, no, I don't answer. On a Monday and Tuesday, I have Zooms at like 9 o'clock at night. That's my set time for my membership and my course. So I know that I'm online for that, and that's no problem. But when it comes to emails or messages or whatever, I don't respond to anything after 7 p.m. at all. It waits till the next day. But I also have an automatic message that you would have seen that says, thank you for your message, please allow 24 hours for a response, because I did get into the bad habit of constantly looking at my phone and responding to people straight away. So again, I had to take responsibility, because then when I stopped that, people were like, well, why are you all of a sudden not replying to me? And I would get frustrated with them for messaging me at 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, well, hold on. I created that. Not them. Yeah. I responded. So therefore, I've created that habit. So I just then made it open to all of my clients, everyone in my course, everyone in my membership, just to let you know, these are the days that I will be doing feedback in the membership or in the course. These are the days that I'm available in Messenger or WhatsApp, and nothing will be answered straight away. Please allow 24 hours. I openly said it. Some people didn't like it and left. That's fine. I wished them well and said, you know, I can recommend someone else if you want, but if not, I wish you well on your journey. And, you know, feel free to check in if you ever need anything. I will always leave hi. And others were like, no, I don't blame you, you know, and that's what it is now. And I've got no shame for doing so, because as coaches, we need to protect ourselves as much as we protect our clients.
Yes, because this is as well, our talk is as well a part of the mindset and how to set boundaries and to protect our energy, to be as well in balance with ourselves. Dione, so I'm so grateful and I'm so happy for having you here.
I've loved it. Absolutely. I feel your energy. I really do.
Thank you so much.
I feel we're very similar. So thank you for inviting me. I'm really grateful.
So it's a very, very spontaneous conversation, very interactive, and I really love this. I love the real life stories. That's the reason why I called the talk show Share Your Life Story Experience, because the talk show Share Your Life Story Experience I created so on the basis of true life stories, you know, not only like blah blah blah, not based on superficial talks, you
Yes.
know.
And I love how the way you do it, like it, I didn't have a clue what questions you were going to ask me or anything. It was just free, open and honest talk.
Yes.
And I think that is one thing as well that's so important in this industry as well. And I love what you do, so I really appreciate it.
So me the same. So like that, I really appreciate so the spontaneity, and you know, as well the real story that you have shared with us, your struggles, because we can learn from you.
Yeah.
What you have been going through, we can take as an example. So, and to avoid you know, mistakes. And I want to thank you all the people that have been live with us from all over the world, because I know that there is people out there from United States, India, Australia, Canada, and many other countries. I want to thank you everyone from the depth of my heart, and people who wants to participate to the talk show, so you are welcome. Only don't forget all the time, so I remember to all the people that this talk show is for educators, trainers, mentors, coaches, healers, therapists, and public speakers. I know that there are thousands of people who wants to participate, but we talk so about education and transformation and true life stories. Thank you to everyone and take care. I see you soon, Diane. Bye-bye.